Welcome back to the Self Trust Solution Podcast. Today's guest is absolute proof that self trust does not have an expiration date. Judy Katz is a book collaborator, ghostwriter, publisher, and marketer with more than 60 books under her belt, including award winning memoirs, Wall Street Journal bestsellers, and titles that became documentaries. But Judy didn't start ghostwriting until guess what? 65 years old. After decades in journalism, PR, and leadership roles at major organizations, she had a moment of powerful clarity, a moment where she realized she had one more chapter to write, and it wasn't the one she was living. Today at 85, Judy is still going full speed, still helping people become authors, still speaking, still writing, and still inspiring. And her story is one of the clearest examples we have this season of what happens when self trust meets reinvention. Judy, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much, Dawn. It's just a pleasure to be here.
It is an
Oh,
honor to have you. So, Judy, take us back to that moment when you were running a major PR firm. What did life and work feel like at that time?
well, it was a lot like what I did at Madison Square Garden. It was a different age, so there wasn't the whole as much of an internet. So we would have press conferences. We would get people on Oprah and all the big shows, and it was just a very exciting time.
Yeah.
But
You've
what happened?
described that period as being everyone's Jewish mother, doing more therapy sometimes than even writing.
100%. Yes. Yes.
What toll was that taking on you internally?
I remember the day in August, um, close to my 65th birthday, because my birthday's August 29th. And it was 95 degrees in the shade. I had 14 people with trauma every day. Something was happening. And I was more of a therapist, as you said, than writing, which is my passion. So I went back to my 3 bedroom, 3 bath terrace apartment on the Upper West Side that's sitting empty all day. And I'm commuting and I'm exhausted. And I thought, what can I do where I don't need a whole team around me and I can just be in my head and write? And I thought of ghostwriting, which, 20 years ago wasn't as proliferate a field as it is today. And I went to one of my big PR clients and I said, she need a book. You need a book? And she said, why? Because she was doing well. She had a Wall Street firm. And I said, because it's the ultimate marketing tool. You will have a global footprint. Oh, that sounds nice. So one of the things I tell people right away, Dawn, is I'm not responsible for how many copies sell. That's the universe at work. That's marketing to some extent. A lot of, word of mouth, things like that. But if you tell me what you want your book to do for you, I guarantee it will. She
Mm.
wanted higher paying clients and things like that. So we wrote a cover letter. She sent the book by mail uh, to CEOs of the public companies that she worked with, and the phone never stopped ringing. I did the same for a certified financial planner, and people read his book and they came to him and bought their multi-million dollar portfolio. So he made a million, she made millions, and that is what people can do when you have a book. So today it's not so much a got to have, it's not a good to have, it's a got to have, in my opinion.
To trust yourself with such a big change from like leaving that
Right.
security of that business, of that career to starting your own business, doing something that, to your point, wasn't very prolific at the time.
No. The moment when I had to trust myself was when I ran away from home at 18.
Mm.
And I'm very proudly Jewish, but my parents wanted me to be a school teacher like my mother because I'd have the summer off. I would marry a Jewish doctor or lawyer, and my life stretched out ahead of me. And it wasn't the life that I was looking for. So I got on the Trailways bus was $600 that I made as a camp counselor over the years, and a little wooden suitcase, cardboard really. And I got on the bus, and in 3 days, I was at Westwood Village, right next to UCLA. And because I had really extraordinary grade, I was immediately accepted at UCLA, but I didn't want to go there. I heard about this place called Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley, and it sounded fantastic. So I got on another bus a month later, and I went to Cal, and I walked into the newspaper, the Daily Californian. I said, "Can I write about my 3 days going through the South?" And I called it Southern Exposure. And it got me a column, a 4 years, every week column on the Daily Californian.
So that
I
started when you were 18. This
It's
it's
18.
like courage more than even, I don't know. What do you think? It sounds like a lot of courage and trust. Yeah.
No, and can I call it desperation?
Well, you can call it whatever you want. I mean,
Okay.
why though? Why are we calling it desperation?
I wanted a bigger life. I knew that there were people out there of every kind. And I'll tell you, at Berkeley, you meet everybody, the Sikhs, the Muslims, every kind of people. It's an international, and I wanted to find out what the world was really like, and not just live in my little Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn enclave.
Yeah.
And I did find out.
Wow. So desperation, that I would say takes definite courage. And then through that, probably developing self trust because you kept proving to yourself that you could. You could step out of your comfort zone and keep going and pick yourself up and keep moving forward.
Well, let me tell you what I tell all the amoebas in my life. And when I say amoeba, I'm talking about anybody who's younger than me, which is most everybody. And I say, look, you have your whole long amoeba life ahead of you. You're just like getting out of the ocean onto land. Look what's ahead of you. Take Have courage. Take risks. Just do it. Fake it till you make it. I didn't know what was ahead for me. I was afraid to spend a penny of my $600. I slept outside for a while because I was so scared that I would, you know, not have any money, be homeless, whatever. But you know what? There was a drive in me, and there's a drive in people that they often don't recognize when they're living somebody else's life. Like they become a doctor or a lawyer because everybody in their family is doing that, but they have the soul of an artist. They want to paint, they want to act, they want to, do that. The universe will take care of you, my little amoebas. They,
Well, you said that you didn't ask for validation or permission, which a lot of people do struggle with. So, what do you think it took to ignore the noise and honor your own voice?
One of my biggest regrets, and I apologized to my parents many times over the years. For 3 days, they thought I got kidnapped or, had disappeared off the face of the earth. When I got to California, I did let them know what I had done, and they were obviously upset, but I was there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it took courage. But as I get older, I realize that you don't have to be desperate. You have to just have a window into another world, another way that you could be living, and trust yourself.
So here you are now, fast forward to 65, and you're calling that Brooklyn to Berkeley girl back into the picture, right? Like, because you're starting a whole new, seeing that window of not settling for what's not working for you. How did reconnecting with her, if you will, help you move forward?
Well, I love people, and I'm a glass half full person. Um, and I love people's stories. I really believe that's the glasses I wear, so to speak. That everyone has a story, some better than others, but I love to help people discover the story they should tell. And often it's not the story they think they should tell because they're too close to their own life.
Mm.
And so I listen to them and then I tell them, here's the story you should tell. Here's the story you were born to tell, whether it's business, a memoir, spiritual, health, because I know who your audiences are. And usually I'm right, you know.
Yeah. Do you
They're still testicle.
Yeah. Do you see most people undervaluing their expertise, their experience, or just choosing the wrong expertise and experience to focus on?
I think sometimes they think their story is so unique that they want to tell it, but it's been told a million times.
Mm.
And honestly, Dawn, there are no new stories. Shakespeare did it all. The whole every range of human experience is in his, because I studied Shakespeare a lot in school. Um, yeah, but we humans need reminding of things. We need reminding of how to love, how to be courageous, how to get over, trauma. All those things are in people's stories. And so when I listen to people, I listen to what I would call in what I would call level 5 listening. So level 5 listening, let's say level 1 listening is you're talking, but I can't wait to interrupt you so that I can show you how smart I am. That's like not really listening. And then you go down levels, and level 5 is where you hear everything they're saying and what they really mean and what they're not saying. And that's a different kind of listening that I've learned to do.
I love that. We do level 5. I do level 5 with
I
and
know you
coaching.
do.
And what's so fun about that, why I love that you bring it up, is we can hear what you're dismissing and what you're trying to prove. What's not even real for you, but you think that's what you should be sharing. That's what you think is you need to prove, instead of seeing the true beauty of you. Because yes, there's not a story out there that hasn't been told, but your story is unique. Your experiences are unique because they're you. There is no other you out there. But
And you can tell it in a way that will engage people. And because books should always be show, not tell. So even when I open a business book, I start with an anecdote that people, and by the way, I always can write in other people's voices.
Mm.
Ventriloquist. Oh, I never thought of that. Yeah, I guess I am.
Right?
Because I
You've
have
completed 60 books now.
Yes, yes. And I have people waiting.
Yeah, and there's multiple voices. It's not like that's 60 books for one person.
No, every book is different. I have been
Right.
every race, every religion, every age.
Amazing.
But it's interesting. One of the things that I am up to right now, besides helping people write best-selling books,
Mhm.
um, is to change the conversation about aging. Why do I say that? Because if you believe movies and some TV and ads, at 85, you would expect me to be sitting in a wheelchair, forgot my own name, at some care facility somewhere. And that is not my reality, but not just not my reality. I know so many people well into their 90s who are playing full out, and not even celebrities. We could all name, a Mel Brooks or a Betty White, but rank and file people, doctors, lawyers, CEOs, artists, engineers, people are doing amazing things until their last breath.
Yeah. Don't count us out just because we're older, right? And
Exactly.
and you're such a great example of that, because again, you're 85, you're busier and we'll say bolder than ever. I'm dating billionaires at 75, writing your own memoir, which I'd love for you to hold up and speak about in a minute. But you're also speaking and you are building this mission around aging. So tell us about your book, but also what this chapter feels like from the inside.
Well, I was at an event recently, and I was the last speaker in a crowded thing, and people were tired. It was getting on to the end, and it was a bad position to be in. And they were all like, their eyes are crossing, like, when can I get out of here? So I got up on the stage, stood on the mic at the microphone, didn't say anything, let them stare at me. And then I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a spring chicken. And I had them.
Yeah.
They woke up and I got them excited because I had good material, but I had to have their attention. So, in order to do well as a speaker, you have to use humor, and it should be a little self-depreciating humor.
Shows how you can connect, how you do it when you're writing for others, where you're actually able to do that level 5 listening and see beyond just the story they're telling you, but what's underneath there, some of what they're not telling you. But the same with, it seems like when you were in that instance with speaking, you saw what they needed before just giving them what you had.
Sure, sure.
So,
My process starts with, if you agree that you might want to work with me on a book, I do an enormous amount of research. Who are you? Do you have anything out there in cyberspace, which a lot of people don't have the numbers? They don't have millions of followers, whatever, but we get around that. So, who are you? What are the books or anything like this? What can you say that will be sufficiently unique that people are going to want to hear what you have to say, not only in the form of a book, but then I also have a PR arm. So I get you on the shows. I get you on the podcast. Maybe we'll do it at TEDx talk. Another whole topic. But yeah. So how I do it is when somebody says, yes, I want to work with you, I do all that research and I give them a writer for hire agreement, which spells out everything. I come up with a working title, subtitle, which often becomes the title because I love doing titles. And they have to be provocative. The title is the sizzle and the subtitle is what the book is all about. So you should know that. But yeah, so I what I do is it talks about the timetable, the payment schedule, how we're going to work, how long it'll take. And then I start interviewing them. And I have people who are so busy. One was in Shenzhen, China. Oh, I would never do that again. I happened to interview him at 10, 11 o'clock at night because of the 12-hour time difference. But yeah, so I interview people for an hour at a time. I use those transcripts, but I don't just say, tell me about yourself. I mean, I get very specific and I get the stories from them. And when they tell me a story, I say, so was it raining? Was it hot? Was it cold? How did you feel? Who was there? What color? That all of that is God is in the details.
yeah. So, what does this chapter of your life, having now written your own memoir, you're doing more speaking, you're building this mission around aging, what does it feel like for you?
That it feels great. Listen, I'm very appreciative. I am very, very appreciative of my opportunities. I know that there are people who say they're in the 50s, mid 50s to 60. They lose their job, their work dries up, and they're aged out, or they feel they're aged out.
Mm.
Don't talk to me because you're not, because you have this marvelous brain, because you have a heart, because you have a story to tell. It is harder to be your own boss. It is because, entrepreneurship, you have to market yourself. I will go to the opening of a door. I will go, I go everywhere. I'm going to a big networking thing tonight.
Yeah.
New York business women in business. These are CEOs of their own companies. Some of them have stories they haven't told yet.
Yeah.
Just gonna walk around, what I mean?
There's so many people listening, maybe feel a nudge to reinvent, write a book, start something new, but they hesitate. From your lived experience, what would you want them to know?
You know, it's not easy to start a book. Go to somebody who has some professionalism. I do a 2-hour developmental thing for people. It's not expensive. And and they tell me their story and I tell them the book they should write. So if somebody wants to spend 2 hours with me on the phone or however, I'll be happy to do the 5 level listening.
That sounds amazing. You can tell someone the kind of book they should write after meeting with them for 2 hours. And can people find that information on your website?
So my email, which I'm on 24/7, is jkatzcreative@gmail.com, which you'll put in your,
Show notes, yes.
yes. So email me with your number and we'll figure out a day and a time to talk. Half an hour free. And I'll see what I can do to help you. And after that, if we can work together in some way, I would be more than happy. You'll put my website out there as well.
Absolutely. And a link to your book.
So I was writing for the Huffington Post and I had these like 29 essays about marrying a widower with 3 children, about my year of dating Cary Grant, becoming a ghostwriter, moving out of my big apartment to a smaller apartment, how I felt. Um, See, when running away seemed like the only option.
Wow.
So people are loving it. I just sort of did it for a lark, and it worked out very well. I also recently co-authored a dog book because I am a dog crazy person. I love
What
dogs.
book?
Love dogs. Can I have my chihuahua? Like,
Judy, I don't know if you knew that I have a dog book.
no. All right, well, I want to introduce everybody to Leah.
Yeah.
This is my Nuchka. This is my little baby Leishka. She's 13
Amazing.
and she's got an attitude. We went to Central Park. She was surrounded by giant dogs and she goes, and they're like, are you crazy? But she doesn't know she's little. This is the attitude to have by amoebas. This is your attitude right there.
Yeah.
Leah the Chihuahua.
Big dog attitude for a little tiny dog. It's so cute. So for you listening that aren't able to see, I do suggest you go to YouTube and go and see. But she's the most adorable little chihuahua, blonde chihuahua.
Oh, thank you. Yes. And I co-authored a book about a service dog that I know is going to become a movie. It's called Galaxy.
Amazing.
And it is lessons from a service dog. This dog was tortured for 3 years, was found by a family. They had no idea that she could turn her pain into healing broken people. And the stories are remarkable. And, I feel like we don't disturb dogs because they are so wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing I love. And I will absolutely will get a hold of your book.
Yes, trust, surrender, obey. It's all about. I do a lot of rescue. I fostered a lot of dogs, and
Oh my
I
goodness.
kept 2 of them. But there are stories from all of them in the book and what they taught me about faith and becoming a better human.
Oh my God. I cannot wait to read that. And if I could recommend a program on Netflix
Yeah.
to people, it's called The Big C with Laura Linney. I just binge watched all 4 seasons and it made me want to be a better person and it made me want to live every day fully. I'm telling you, you will thank me as you watch it. It's called The Big C. It is about somebody with cancer, but it's not a downer. It's a
Judy, at 85 in the life you've lived, I don't think you need a show to teach you anything. But we will definitely check it out because I love Laura Linney. So thank you for that
wonderful.
recommendation. Judy, your story is the embodiment of what season 3 is all about. That self-trust is not only the start of something new, but the catalyst for an entire reinvention. And if you listening have a self-trust story to share, I'd love to hear it. And if you're ready to create one, I'd love to help you claim it. Go to the selftrustcoach.com and check out all of Judy's amazing links in the show notes. She's going to have your email if you want to take advantage of that 30-minute free session with her, and a link to her book and a link to her website as well. So make sure you're subscribed. Season 3 is going to be full of stories just like this. Judy, thank you for reminding us that it's never too late to trust yourself or to write your next chapter.
You're wonderful. Thank you so much.